I can't believe it. 36 years ago today, the King, Elvis Presley, passed away. Let me tell you, at the time of his demise, the King actually had a bigger butt than I do.
And Zambrano is nothing but a liability.
And I couldn't disagree more. It's all coming up right here on Culture Clash, brought to you by Flawed Brothers Disposal Service. I'm Chet Kopic, along with
Catherine Saxon.
Well, first of all, let's talk about Miami Beach and your run-in with the bimbo who was smoking.
Okay, so I went to Miami Beach last weekend for a bachelorette party, and you can still smoke everywhere. So in the lobby, you're
Did they fly you down there first class?
No, I flew coach. But anyway, so you can smoke everywhere, in lobbies, in restaurants, in bars, and we're out with the bachelorette party, and I'm walking past this female who had, no, we did not. No male strippers.
You sure this was a bachelorette party?
She was very anti, so we didn't do it.
Party?
We went to a striptease class. We did some bachelorette fun stuff.
You went to a striptease class?
Yes, and we did some fun other stuff that isn't appropriate.
Okay, girl, take it off.
There was no taking off. It was just a class, but which I'm very sore from actually. So anyway, I'm walking past this chick who had a couple beverages, adult beverages, and she's waving her hand back and forth with her cigarette and smacks me in the arm with it. And I'm wearing a jacket, so I can't show you, but I'm not exaggerating, like a 3rd-degree burn. I'm telling my mom this story, and she's like, why didn't you, go to the management and say something, and, we should sue them, yada, 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 which, okay, I don't know if we should sue them, but it's like, when are these cities going to, outlaw cigarette smoking? I mean, it is a liability for these places.
Well, first of all, you had the whole trip out of whack.
Okay.
You don't go to Miami for a bachelorette party. You go to Miami
with the
kind of guy who's a loser, who's good at one thing.
Okay.
And then when you get back, you never see him again.
Okay.
Can we at least settle on that?
No, I think that, it's something different besides Vegas, and it was a great time, and I was just annoyed about the cigarette smoke no matter where I went. It was, following us the entire trip.
All right, well, what do you know about Elvis Presley?
I know that he is, the king. I know that he's a legend. I know that he is one of the most historic musicians of all time. I know that it is the 34th anniversary of his death.
Right.
I know a decent amount.
Right.
I know that you saw him in concert. I'm pretty sure his last concert.
The last time Elvis Presley appeared in concert was at Market Square Arena in Indianapolis, Indiana, and the local promoter was a guy named Bruce Hubley, and he was kind enough to invite us, and we sat in the first row, as a matter of fact. And it was not the King you wanted to see. The King at this point was doing myriad drugs, was terribly overweight, was perspiring like a stuck pig, for heaven's sakes. Matter of fact, I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but I left the show early.
Oh, man.
Now, it was the 4th or 5th time I'd seen Elvis over the years. All previous times in Las Vegas.
Was he? Okay, so the previous times, did you see him in his prime?
I caught him in his prime in about 72 or 3, but Catherine, you have no idea. I mean, if you look at his face, he was so badly bloated. I mean, he looked like, oh my gosh, how would I describe it? He looked like he had a catcher's mask underneath his skin.
I've seen pictures, and it's not pretty. But I have to say that the following of, a bunch of people are going to Graceland today, and I think that it's...
Well, they do every year.
Right. I think it's iconic that so many people are still, going and seeing him, and his fan base is still so large. I wonder if Michael Jackson's fan base is going to be similar to his, 34 years from now.
No. As a matter of fact, it won't be that way 10 years from now.
I don't see it being as strong either.
When Elvis Presley's 40th anniversary of his death comes up, once again, I mean, they'll be... Graceland will become a small city.
Right.
Anyway, what else is on the agenda?
All right. Well, can we talk about your favorite guy, Zambrano? I mean, this guy to me. So what? He gets ejected from the game. He then says that he's going to quit. I'm just doing a small recap and making sure I'm on the same page as you. Then he apologizes, and now he's suspended for 30 days without pay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So to me, it's like this guy is nothing but a liability, and I feel like he's not that good.
Well.
He's not that good.
Here are the issues with Carlos Zambrano. Number one, the 30-day suspension is going to be knocked down because the Players Association in Major League Baseball have to negotiate the 30-day suspension. Also, am I the only guy out there? I know he's got 91 mil on his contract, but when you're as screwed up as Carlos Zambrano is, you can't be happy. This guy doesn't need a rosin bag. This guy doesn't need teammates. He needs a full-time psychiatrist. One of these days, Carlos Zambrano, with his temper, is going to do something that's going to leave him in an orange jumpsuit. You heard it here first.
All right, so shouldn't there be some sort of consequence for him acting like this? I mean, other than, okay, so what, he apologizes, the suspension is going to be, might be lessened, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so what, that's it, and we go forward? I mean, is this guy's contract
No,
only
he'll
a year
never-
or so more?
he'll
I want
never
him
pitch to
off the
Chicago
team.
Cubs again.
I want him off the team. He is annoying, he's a
Why? You don't
liability.
care about baseball.
I'm just saying, okay, for the city of Chicago, he's annoying. I'm tired of hearing
I
about
want
him.
Snooki off the team. She bores me to tears.
Okay, well, that's a different team, but I mean, anyway, I just feel like there should be some sort of consequence.
Didn't you have some political item here you wanted to talk about?
Yes. Are you, you're done with this? You're over this?
Yeah.
Governor from Minnesota.
Carlos, baseball been very good to you. Hockey? I don't know.
Tim Pawlenty, he's out of the presidential race, and he announced that Sunday morning. And after he saw the results from Saturday's polls, he was much further behind Michelle Bachmann and Ron Paul. He said that he saw that there was no point to continue forward, which I feel like that was kind of a smart move on his part. And I feel like if you learn when to fold him, know when to walk away, know when to run. So good for him to get out of the race now. I didn't really see him having a chance, but the fact that Michelle Bachmann is so much further ahead of him scares me.
All right, first of all, if anybody out there actually knew that Pawlenty was in the race, please raise your hand. That's what I figured. The only person who was surprised by the departure of Pawlenty from the Republican sweepstakes might have been Mrs. Pawlenty. Why did he drop out? Because he had no money. He had no money, and Iowa is still, what, 5-6 months away, for heaven's sakes? So the fact is, he did what is logical. You gotta have
giving the guy
cabbage
credit
to
for
run,
that.
for heaven's sakes.
You know what? But it's hard for some people to know when they've lost and to admit that and to get out. So I give the guy a little bit of credit.
Well,
for that.
doing this show right now, we're losing, and I'm accepting it.
Okay, so
Not very well, but I'm accepting it.
Rick Perry, do you have any opinion of this guy, governor of Texas? Strong comparison, I feel like, to George Bush.
If he winds up with the nomination and he goes head-to-head with Obama,
He'll lose.
Obama has got a tremendous advantage because it will be Texas is George Bush. Texas is George Bush. Texas is Dick Cheney. Texas is all the misery of Afghanistan. Texas is everything I've tried to repair, but I haven't had enough time. If it winds up being Perry against Obama, I'm telling you, I make Obama a prohibitive 3-1 favorite.
Okay, I mean, I actually agree with that, but do you think that he would actually even get to that point where he could beat
Very definitely.
Romney and he
Very
could
definitely, because he appeals to the religious right. And unlike Bachmann, he hasn't got a husband or a wife who's anti-gay.
He actually.
That's why Bachmann's going nowhere.
I mean,
and she's very appealing, but Bachmann's going nowhere.
I'm surprised she's
because of
gone
her
this
husband.
far. But he actually stated that he was okay with New York, approving gay marriage.
Who did your fingernails? Alice Cooper?
Well, I mean, it's trendy. The different shades. It's in right now. I promise you.
Now,
All right,
what do
so
you pay to have your nails done?
probably $30 maybe.
I get mine done at Chan's Nails on Chicago Avenue.
Too much information.
Little joint. And you know what I pay?
How much?
$12.
Okay.
And a $3 tip. You know how long it takes? 7 minutes.
Moving forward, K plus 8. Have you ever?
I don't know why I brought that up.
I'm not sure either.
I'll wonder years from now, why did I bring that up?
Kate plus 8. Did you ever watch the show Kate and John plus 8? This was one of the biggest reality TV shows on TLC. Okay, this couple has 8 children, and there was a time when 10 million viewers were tuning in. The couple has a horrible divorce. It was all over the tabloids, and the show then becomes just Kate plus 8 without the John. Are you following this?
I'm so lost. You could be talking about Teddy Roosevelt right now, for all I know.
All right, Kate Goslin. Have you ever heard of Kate Goslin?
I've heard of Kate Goslin.
That's who we're talking about. Kate plus 8.
Is she married to Rick Goslin?
No. Maroon 5 lead singer Adam Levine. Have you ever heard of Maroon 5?
Yes, I have.
Okay,
I've
good
heard
for
of
you.
Maroon 5, and let me tell you, in 2 years there'll be a trivia question.
Okay. Well, he's a judge on the reality show The Voice. He's bashing American Idol, saying that.
This has got to be about the Baldwin kid, right?
Okay, what?
Adam Baldwin?
No.
What's his name?
Something about their treatment about gay contestants. But
there was the one kid on American Idol who looked.
Adam Lambert?
Yeah, who looked like he should have a house at Halstead and Roscoe.
Okay. Yes, he was a little bit flamboyant, to say the least. I'll give you that.
A little bit flamboyant. He made RuPaul look like Albert Einstein.
All right, so my question to you is whether or not these reality shows should have an issue or would have an issue behind the scenes with their contestants being openly gay.
You would think not, because they are quote-unquote reality shows. They want to sensationalize. You would think theoretically it goes against the grain as to what they are conceptually. But you got to remember, Middle America,
Okay.
Nebraska is notorious for wanting straight people. You got to keep one thing in mind: sex was not discovered in Wyoming until 1986. So, you know, basically, when it comes to our sexual principles,
The year I was
if
born.
you understand, you were born in 1986? That was a great year for me. Really,
Me
really
as well.
a great year. Why? What the hell did you do?
I was born. Okay, so did you hear about this
That makes you 25.
24 actually, but Nate Smith, an 11-year-old kid who won $50,000 by his shooting.
Yeah, my first reaction is give the kid the dough.
I'm say the same thing. All right, so this kid, he sank an 89-foot hockey shot. And turns out that he wasn't the person that was supposed to be called to make the shot in the first place. So now it's up to the insurance companies to decide whether or not he'll actually win the $50,000. I'm wondering what the probable outcome is. I'm hoping that they'll have a heart and give the kid the $50,000.
Well, first of all, given the fact that I hate insurance companies, I hate insurance companies. And let me tell you why. Because they used to offer personal service. Now you dial an 800 number, press 1 if you're Norwegian, press 2 if you're Swedish, press 3 if you're from, you know, south of Venezuela. Do you have your claim number? We don't handle that. Now we're going to transfer you. So you know what? As far as I'm concerned, I want to know the name of the insurance company. If they don't give the kid the $50K, I'm going to Facebook them about them.
We're going to make it a huge ordeal on the show. Absolutely.
Exactly. We're just going to maul them on Facebook.
Okay, so the unfortunate catastrophe that happened at the Indiana State Fair, the stage collapse and kills, you know, several individuals. I think it was 5.
Why did they even continue with the fair?
I am shocked by this more
Why did Governor
than
Mitch Daniels even allow this to go on after a tragedy this heinous? And K-Girl, I used to work in Indianapolis.
Okay.
And people down there are, I mean, that's the Bible Belt. And the fact that they allowed this thing to go on is appalling to me. End it.
I mean, I'm wondering, you know, how safe are these stages that are happening at Lollapalooza? I was telling you is, you know, pouring rain out, and you're wondering, okay, is it really that safe for me to be out here? And when it's thunderstorming and lightning, and there's all this obvious electricity and you know, very heavy equipment. So I guess that, you know, this answers my own question. But you know, what happens now for these families' loved ones? Do they get some sort of compensation? I mean, what happens?
Oh, absolutely. These families are going to cash in big time.
All right. Was there fair warning that this was coming? Should they have closed down?
The winds were gusting at 70 miles per hour and they didn't close this thing down?
Right. Okay. Well, I think this should turn into a lawsuit, and it's most likely definitely will.
Finally, I'm going to see Don Rickles this Saturday at my favorite theater, the Arcata Theater out in St. Charles. I know you're a big fan of Don Rickles.
Huge. No.
How about Rodney Dangerfield? You ever hear my favorite Rodney Dangerfield joke?
Please tell it before we have to end this.
My wife likes to talk when she's having sex. Last night she called me from the motel. Well, they can't all be gems. They can't all be knockout drops. We'll catch you next time with Culture Clash, brought to you by our good friends at Flood Brothers Disposal Service. With that in mind, I'm Chet Kopic, embarrassingly so.
Catherine Saxon. Thanks, guys.
Catch you next time around. We'll be back in 7 days, but don't let that scare you. Peace, love, and rock and roll. See you, Don.